Hi everyone, welcome back to the class. In this class, we are going to learn how to design microscope icon. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So first thing we are going to do in order to design this icon, we will grab the rectangle tool from our tools, and then from the center of the artboard, from the lower portion, we will start designing the base of our design. So in order to do that, we will create this rectangle at the bottom of our icon guide and create a duplicate copy of this rectangle and convert it into the square. And now we'll bring this square towards bottom and we will increase the height a little bit, and we will combine this with our lower rectangle design. And now we'll go ahead and increase the stroke width of our rectangles and increase them all the way up to 9 pixels and make the corners rounded. And now using the direct selection tool, we will select the sides and the top corners and make them rounded. Now we'll go ahead and using the shape builder tool, we will combine both of these shapes and align it with the icon guide. And now in the next step, we will go ahead and select the ellipse tool, and we will create the arms of the microscope. And we'll go ahead by selecting the tool, we will start designing the circle from the center of the artboard. And now in order to make a few adjustments, we will increase the stroke width of this circle so that this can be more prominent and thicker. Now in the next step, what we are going to do is using the rectangle tool, we will design the tray of our microscope, and at one edge we will create this rectangle and increase the width of this rectangle all the way up towards the sides of the icon guide and towards the center. And now we will select our circle, and using the pen tool we will add a few points on our circle in order to delete the extra areas. As you can see that by doing that, we have deleted the extra points and made the path open, and we will do the same for the top part of the circle. And now make a few adjustments to the size and position of the tray. And now in the next step, we will select the whole design of arm and the tray and scale it down and work on the alignment and make the alignment in the middle. And now we'll increase the width of our tray towards sides and center. Now we'll create a rectangle, or otherwise we can create a duplicate copy of this rectangle that we already created, and we'll rotate it, and then we will increase the width of this rectangle, and we will also increase the height of this rectangle towards the top, and then we will create a duplicate copy of this rectangle and decrease the size of that rectangle. The reason why we have done this is to create the eye cap part of the microscope, and then we will decrease the stroke width, and then we will make some duplicate copies of this rectangle and bring them towards bottom. And now we'll adjust the height of this rectangle and move it towards the other side, and create a duplicate copy, and then we will group them together into one single group and adjust the width of the group and the gap between both of these shapes. And then what we'll do is make sure that all of these shapes are properly aligned. Now we'll select the lower portion of this shape or design and increase the height of this overall shape, and then we will rotate it and move it towards the top with the upper end of our arm. And now we'll go ahead and make a few adjustments to the length and height of our design of the eye part area of the microscope, and then we make sure that the height and the overall size is properly proportionate in the adjustment and size of our arm and the other design elements of this design. Now we'll go ahead and break the lower portion of our arm into two pieces, and in order to do that we'll select the pen tool and add a few points in the bottom, and then we'll select one of these points and then we'll delete it, and after that we will make a few adjustments and make sure that all of the points are properly aligned with the base area of the microscope. And now we'll go ahead and select all of these shapes together into one single group, and as you can see that our icon is ready. So now we'll go ahead and start designing this icon in the fill style. So first thing we are going to do is we will create a duplicate copy of our artboard and bring it towards forward and create a backup copy of our icon. Now we'll go ahead and select all of these shapes of the icon and ungroup them one by one, and then we will select the arms and increase the stroke width of the arms, and then we'll go ahead and convert these arm strokes into fill by going to objects menu and expand the shapes, and we'll do the same for the lower base area and convert the strokes into the fill from the objects menu. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and select the internal part of this design and convert it into fill, and then we'll adjust the height and width of the rectangle according to the icon guide. And now we'll select the upper part of the design and convert it into fill as well, and make a few adjustments in our design, and we will make the corners rounded. Alright, so now you can see that our design in the fill style is ready. And now we'll go ahead and start adding colors to our artwork, and in order to do that we will create a duplicate copy of our artboard. Alright, so once we have created the duplicate copy of our artboard, we'll start creating the color palette so that this will help us to create the color guide for our design and give us a direction of what kind of colors we want to add inside our artwork. So as you can see that by selecting different patches, I can swatch different colors from my color guide tool, and I can select different colors whatever I want to add inside my design. So this is where I can decide on different colors and different variations that will later help me to go through my design and decide that what color will appear better in different design elements inside my icon. So now I will go ahead and select different design elements one by one, and using the eyedropper tool, I will start adding those colors in those specific areas or shapes. So I will keep on drawing and playing around with different colors until I'm satisfied with what kind of color I want to add from my color palette or color guide tool. If there is some color that does not like by me in the color guide tool, then I can also play around from the other tools that are available in Adobe Illustrator by manually playing with the colors. Once I've added all the colors inside my design, I will group all these shapes together into one single group and create a duplicate copy of my artboard so that I can start to add the colors inside gradient style. Alright, so now I will go ahead and create a rectangle and add gradient inside this rectangle, and then using these color swatches or color palette, I will start adding different colors from one transition to another transition, and then using the eyedropper tool I will start adding these gradient colors inside the design. Just make sure that in the same way that we made the color palettes using the color guide tool, we should also make some adjustments in our gradients and made different styles of color gradients with our color palette and have different variations so that we can have more variety and more options for our design to be added different gradient colors inside the icon. And now we'll select all of these elements or designs one by one, or these shapes, and then using the eyedropper tool we will start adding these colors or the gradients inside the icon. While adding these different gradients inside the design, if at any point we feel that we can add some more variations of the colors of the gradients, we can just go ahead and create a new gradient and add that inside our design. And now we'll go ahead and adjust the radial gradient adjustments of our arms of microscope. So we will move them and scale it up a little bit around the arms of microscope so that we can make sure that all the color adjustments are at the right place. So now once we are done with all the adjustments, we'll select all of the shapes together into one single group, and now you can see that our icon in the gradient style is ready as well. Now we'll go ahead and see you in the next class.